morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. I am Shay Murphy, the Executive Director for NWPMA, and we're thrilled to be collabing with PMA&C to bring you today's webinar, led by Ashley Colautti. Ashley is the Director of Digital Transformation over at Spector & Co., and she is a dynamic digital strategist who's helped teams across our industry leverage technology in meaningful ways. She's passionate about giving back, serving on the PPAI Educational Committee, and currently a board chair over at PromoKitchen as well. Today, Ashley will share practical human-centered tips to boost productivity, streamline workflows, and supercharge collaboration. Quick bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat. We'll tackle as many as we can at the end, and stick around until the end of the session to earn your CEU credit. Thanks again for joining, and take it away, Ashley.
All right, thank you for that introduction, Shay. I hope you can all see my screen right now. I'm just sharing an agenda. It's all good? You got it?
You're good.
Okay, awesome. So this is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to let you know kind of what we're going to run through, but hopefully all of you know who Spector is. If you don't, I'm going to give you a little one-on-one on who we are as a supplier. And then we'll dive right into what is digital transformation. If you see me looking away, it's because I have multiple screens open here. But we'll dive into what digital transformation is, because it is a unique job title to have in our industry. Not so much in other industries, but we know the promo industry is a little bit like different, a little bit behind when it comes to technology. So we're trying to step that up a little. I'll show you how to do an AI-powered product search. We're going to create virtuals, so I hope you're on your computers and ready to do some hands-on practice. But we'll be able to create storyboards. We're going to create lookbooks and catalogs. And then you guys are going to be the very first to hear about our new reward platform, which is going to be a really fun way for you guys to get free stuff from us. We're going into the holiday launch, so there's going to be some things that you might want for your home, really cool incentives. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. It's also a piece of technology that as a distributor or a supplier, it might be of interest to you to learn more about. And then I'm going to end with a little nugget that I learned from WLC that relates to this whole digital transformation that we're going through. So first, come on, clicky. Just a little bit about Spector. We've been around for 75 years. I'm actually from Canada. I was a distributor. What, do we have a question there? Sorry. I was a distributor when I started my career in the promo industry, and I used to use Spector as a supplier all the time. And up in Ontario, where I lived, they were kind of a #1 hard goods supplier. Then we branched off into the US probably a decade ago, and slowly built up our reputation there. So we are based in Montreal, but we do have a location in New York. And Eli, who's on the call, are both based out of Las Vegas. We have a team of sales reps across the US. Our president is actually in the US as well. So we have a presence all throughout North America. And just kind of the way we run our business, customer service is a state of mind, not a department. So you'll notice across all of our departments that we're very customer service oriented. I won't get into all of our rules of engagement, but they're there. If you ever want to look back at them, I'll share this deck. But it was something that made Spector really attractive to me when I was looking for a change in my career, and just something that we stand by with all of our partners. This isn't about product, this presentation, but I do want to kind of give you a high level view of what kind of product Spector has, just so you can get an idea. So I've got these color decks that I'll just kind of run through quickly so you can see we are basically like a bag, book, bottle, pen supplier, hard goods. We do have some new categories coming this fall that you'll be able to see soon. All of our products are designed in-house by our own product designers, so we're a little bit different in that way. We don't carry other brands. They're all brands that we create ourselves. So that's kind of a little bit about products. You just saw a splash of them there. What we're really here to talk about is the digital side of things. So I was on the sales side before I kind of made this leap into the digital department. And we kickstarted this department just in this January. So it's been going for 6 months. And we started with a launch at the PPAI Expo in Vegas, where we had this suite called Beyond the Booth. So what I'm going to show you are things that we're doing outside of I mean, we're still doing all the traditional stuff because I think it's really important. Building relationships, seeing things in person is still important, but there's so much more we can do to kind of layer on top of that. So the theme is sort of beyond the booth and the things that we can do on the digital side. Digital transformation. This is a role that you are seeing in other corporations. I think our company is probably the first one that has the digital transformation department that I've heard of so far. But what it means is it's basically a business strategy that involves using digital technology to modernize our processes. So that's internally and externally. And our goal is to create more efficient digital business environment that improves customer experiences, drives innovation, and reduces costs and risks. My role, I'm not a developer. Well, I can be a bit of a nerd. I work with a team of developers. So I'm the client-facing point person for all of our distributor partners. And then I also work with all of the different platforms in the industry. This next screen, I'm sharing with you because it's kind of cool to see how a supplier breaks this down. And as a distributor or a supplier, you might have a different map, but I'm a visual person and I think it's kind of cool to see this. So Spector and probably a lot of other suppliers, we use an internal system for all of our product database. And then we have an ERP system. Then that information pushes into promo standards. So if you haven't heard of promo standards, you're going to be hearing a lot more about it. Since I started in this role 6 months ago, we've had an increase of 93% of our partners join promo standards and want to use those credentials and what they're doing. So basically, it's a place to pass information through and to create a standard amongst all of us where the data matches up. So our product information and business information pushes through promo standards and then into those three platforms. We can also directly integrate with some other partners, but the core of what we do is push that information through to Sage, Distributor Central, and ESP. So I'm guessing all of you on this call are using one of those platforms, if not multiple of them. And then Sage, Distributor Central, ESP, they integrate with those different platforms that you're seeing on the left. And there's more than that. I just grabbed a bunch that I know are very common. So whether you're using Sage to create your presentations, Common SKU, if you're on Facilis, if you're using any of those different e-commerce platforms, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to not only pull in that data, but then to make it look like your own so that you can use lifestyle images and all these fun things in your decks. So when we went about creating these tools for all of you, we wanted to make sure that it works really well with the process that you have now and not create more work for you. And if you have any questions about this, feel free. We can chat about it at the end of the meeting. All right, so talking about the different images and things that I'm going to show you today, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a sneak peek before we dive into the actual platform of what I'm talking about. So you can always reach out to your reps to get virtuals, but we've created these tools so you can create even lifestyle virtuals on your own super fast. So these ones are little clips from our lookbooks and catalogs. And I've got your NWPMA logo, which I didn't have to reach out to Shay to get, by the way. I just stole this from the website and I can show you how to do that as well. And then we couldn't leave out the PPANC, so many acronyms in this industry. So I threw together a couple of virtuals for them as well. This one would be like a fun thing that you could use for social media marketing or throwing them into decks or for proactive reach outs. You can create a whole catalog. So this is leading us into the hands-on part of our meeting. If you go to spectorandco.com, you can follow along and create these things with me. I'm going to end the slideshow, and with any luck, you should see the Spector & Co. website here. Did it work? You still see it?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good. Okay, so if you go to spectorandco.com, I'll show you where you can access these tools. If you go to the sales tools, there's two options here, the storyboard and then the lookbook. So we call it storyboard. This is really where you're going to create really quick virtuals and search for products. I should mention, even on our site, we now have AI built into the search. So you can do phrases, and the way that you search is a little different than how it used to be. I mean, you can still search for blue bottles, and that's what you'll get. But now you can even tie in the amount of inventory you're looking for. So let's say we're looking for blue, and my internet might be slow because I have so much going on here. But you guys try it out on your screens as well. And we could do, let's say, 1,000 units. And then when I pull this search, it's going to take a little minute because of being on the Zoom meeting as well. But when it pulls in the items, you're going to see the stock right here. So it just gives you a really easy way to search and add products. We call it the storyboard creator, but really you can use this as, any instance where you would just send links to a client. You can be creating a deck. So here are those blue bottles that are under $20 and over 1,000 units. So it's a kind of a new way to search instead of having to go through and click into each product and see how much stock there is. And then you can click and add these into your selection. So it allows you to add up to 25 images here, 25 products. And then when you hit the next button, it's going to take you to a screen like this. Oh, no, sorry, I jumped ahead. Let me just show you. So here, your second step would be to add in a logo. And this is a PNG file. So it will work with PNG, JPEGs. If you don't have those files from your clients, you can always just do a little screenshot of their artwork and then save it as a PNG file. If you want to make any changes to how this looks, it's showing you the one color conversion because there's items here that can be laser engraved, or there's patches that can be debossed, or journals that can be debossed. You just click the advanced imaging and it's going to show you the colors that you want to remove. So if there was a background color here from this point, you could remove them. And then when you hit next, it's going to take you to this screen. So in here you have the mock-up view. It's applied a one color imprint here, but I can change that color on this pen if I want to. And you'll see that that hex code came up. So you can actually, if you have the Pantone color from your client, you can search what the hex code is. Or if you have the hex code, then it's even easier. You can put that in so you can actually get their accurate branding color. Here you can see on the journal, it's done a deboss. If you click optional branding, you're able to change that to silkscreen or whatever capabilities are available for that product. And then you can change the location of the artwork, the product color. So here are all the items that I added to this. You might want to change from silkscreen to another decoration method. So this one I'll do laser engraved so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to keep the navy. Oh, I forgot the location. That's always the risk when you're doing a live demo. But here you can see it's changed it to laser. The really cool thing about this tool that we have is that it's pulling based on our product credentials. So you're not going to create a virtual that can't actually be printed. So I know a lot of those different platforms, whether it's Common SKU or some of the other tools out there, you can create these virtuals. But often they're asking you to like resize it on the screen. And sometimes you can go outside of those decoration areas. With this tool, you won't. So if you are, for example, using Common SKU, you can go ahead, pop those SKUs into this platform, and then download those images in a series of JPEGs or a PNG with the transparent background, and then drag those into your decks. So if you're creating a presentation in Sage, Common SKU, or Facilis, you can actually use these mockups. So we're just kind of speeding up that process of getting the virtuals. Over here is the storyboard view. So you can actually send this as a PDF to your client. It's client facing. They won't see Spector on anything. Even if you're in a meeting and you're creating these virtuals on the spot for your customers, they're not going to know that this isn't just your own software. So you're welcome to take this and run with it. It's white labeled. But But here you can see we've got the pricing. You can choose to take it all off, or you can pick certain things that you want to have in there. Maybe you don't want the product name to show up, or you don't want the product code because you don't want them to be able to find it somewhere else. You can manipulate it that way. So this is your virtual creator, the storyboard creator. The other creator I want to show you, if you go back to spectorandco.com and click on the lookbook, this is where you can create your own custom lookbooks and lifestyle images. So a lot of people will use these as a proactive tool to go after new business. You can also use them to snip images and create social media marketing. You can use these virtuals in your decks, but a lot of people are using these to go after new business, and it's resulting in some really cool conversations. So when you go in here, you just select the lookbooks that you want. You hit next, and just like the other tool, here you can put your logo. It'll give you the option again to manually adjust it. So this lookbook has patches. It's going to give you some different styles to choose from. And then here you can also choose a cover logo. So this might actually be your distributor logo on the front. And then you can choose if you want to show those style numbers or the as low as pricing. And then you hit next. This one takes a little bit longer for our system to generate because it's a print ready file. It's high resolution. You have to put your email address in there, and then in about an hour, you're going to get those lookbooks back. And this is what they look like. Oh, I swear, this is what they look like. Okay. So when you get the email, it's going to give you the two options to download. And then here's the trend report. It's got the NWPMA logo on the front. And then we've got the logo on each item. So I chose to have the pricing there. You can choose to have it off. And then you can also take these images. So here's that cover of that 2025 launch. You can take a little snip of these images and put them into your deck. And I promise you, like, other people are not taking that extra step to add those lifestyle images. And it just looks so cool. And like you've put so much time into these presentations for your customers. I know a lot of other suppliers have these tools too, so I urge you to use these. Yeah, Nina says the lifestyle images make such a big difference. I know HPG also has a tool like this, so I just urge you to take a chance, like take a second to learn how to use them together, and then you can add these products into an awesome deck. So play around with it. Let me know what you think. I'm going to go back to my deck if I can figure out how to do this. Okay. And here we go. I haven't seen the chat, but I think some of you might have brought up the fact that it looks a lot like merch.ai. If you are using that tool, if you're not, I suggest you check it out. It's merch.ai, and they pull in all the suppliers' products into a very similar tool. So I just had a meeting with them yesterday, and you can pull in our products. You can add and adjust the logos on each of these items, and you can be creating presentations right from there. Great. Shay just put the website into the chat. Oops. I lost my controls. There we go. So that's what it looks like when you go into that platform and you can play around with it. And then I wanted to let you guys in on a little secret. This doesn't look great yet, so this is just to give you an idea of what we're doing. But we are creating a portal where you can go in and watch videos to earn points that you can then use in our special reward shop. So this is a tool actually that you can use as a distributor or as a supplier. I've created it as a way to kind of show our products to a wider audience than we can actually get to physically. So I'm going to kind of give you an overview of what it is, but basically this would be the landing page. You've got your home screen, which is going to give the user instructions on how to use it. They can click in and get started. And then within the platform, there's a tab called videos. So as a distributor, the way I would use this is if you had a customer that wants to set up a store to reward employees. So in my past life as a distributor, I had a client it was actually, because it's Ontario, it was a government client, and they were responsible for all the liquor stores. And so there were 1,000 liquor stores, and within those companies, employees were rewarded for um, like great customer service. So they would have these secret shoppers go in and give them points that they could use in the store that as a distributor I managed. I wish I had something like this because it's an easier way to reward them for good behavior. So they would get their points, they could go in and watch videos and then redeem things in the store. So the way that I'm using it as a supplier is different than the way a distributor would sell it to their clients. I'm using it to reach more distributors so that they can see quick videos that will give them more knowledge about Spector. So in the video tab, we have a video about a new decoration method. I've got website tips and tricks. I've got the storyboard. So if a distributor comes in here and watches those videos, they're going to get awarded a point. And then those points, just like any reward system, um, can be used. So once you watch a video, there's your congratulations, you get a point. And then they'll go into our shop, which I don't have live yet, but they'll be able to pick out an item, and then it will ship to them. So if anyone is interested in trying this out and being a part of my beta group that will actually get a login to be able to go in and watch videos and then get points, you can scan this code here. And once you scan it, there's a little link to join the reward platform. This is also a little fun thing that if you want to learn more about, I actually use Linktree. So you can go to linktree.com. You can get a free account that will give you a page like you see there where it says Ashley Colautti, and you can add all these links. So it makes it an easy way for if you're networking or you're at a trade show, you can get people to scan it and they'll have your contact information, but they can also go ahead and join your group, book a meeting, check in on your socials, all that fun stuff. I feel like I could do a whole other session just on the QR codes and Linktree accounts. And then finally, I just wanted to share something that I learned from WLC. We had Erica Darwin come and speak, and her session really hit home to me on ways that I can improve and probably improve even this webinar. So I just started reading this book. I'd love for anybody on this call that's interested to start reading it with me and we can compare notes. But so many of our meetings are done virtually now that digital body language is really important. And that's not just the way we look when we're on screen, but it's also the way that we email each other, the language that we use, and the way that we communicate with people. And some of the stats that I've already learned, I'm only like a quarter of the way into this book, but I did see her speak for an hour. Our emails, so the average person gets 100. I think probably in our roles, we get more than that. But the average responded to is only 30. So if you're in a sales role and you're sending out a lot of emails, I mean, we all know this, but these are facts that only 30 of them are actually going to get a response, if you're lucky. And then 50% of emails, the tone is misinterpreted. And what that means is, the language that we're using, I think now, because we're not on the phone as much, and so much of what we're doing is electronic, it's emails, you have to be really careful that you're talking to the person in the tone that they're communicating with you in. So there was a study and an example in this book about a husband and wife communicating and how it turned into a big fight because they misunderstood the tone of it. I just think if we take a minute to actually reread what we're writing to somebody, we'll find that we can trim away a lot of sort of the fat and get to the point a lot faster. And then the average person is on social media for 2 hours a day. So if you're not connecting with people on social, I don't think you need to be the person that's always in front of them, but you do have to be responding to them that way if that's how they want to communicate. So whether that's a DM on Instagram or Facebook or messages in LinkedIn. I get a lot of interaction from our industry on LinkedIn in the message area, a lot more than what you see in the social feed. And then a really big tip, and I've heard this before in our industry, but understand the communication channel. So actually asking your client base how they want to hear from you. And that could be different for each person. It doesn't matter how old they are. They might want a phone call or they might not want a phone call. And it might be really annoying when you just randomly call them, but they might respond really well to a text message. So not being afraid to ask that question. And then she had a really good point in the session about Chat GPT. I personally have been using it a lot in what I do. So when I don't know how to do something, I'll lean on Chat GPT for some help. I use Chat GPT to create graphs for me. So if I'm pulling reports and I want to present to my boss, I'll pull the report and then put it into Chat GPT to ask it to make it a visual representation of the data, and that's been really useful. I use it to rewrite my email sometimes because I can be very direct. And if I'm communicating to somebody that I know likes a little more emotional ties to it, I'll ask ChatGPT to soften what I'm saying a little bit. But lots of fun ways that you can use it. This prompt right here, this is my position. What should I know? Is a great way to see if there's any gaps in the knowledge that you have about what you're doing. So if you're a salesperson for a distributorship, you could put that into ChatGPT and see what should I know? And it might come up with something that you haven't thought of to kind of get you out of the everyday and into something different. Um, that's what I had to share with you today. I know we're only 30 minutes in, but I wanted to leave a lot of time for questions. So if I stop sharing, we can open it up. Am I still sharing?
You're still
Yes.
sharing.
How do I make it stop? Well, anyway, well, I figured that, oh, here, it's because it's hiding on the screen. Does anyone have any questions? I know I kind of was like a little bit all over the place there, but wanted to kind of give you an insight into what I'm working on. Thank you, Sherry.
I don't have any questions, but thank you, Ashley.
Thanks,
Surprisingly, I
Eli.
did learn more about the company that I work for. So thanks.
Yeah. I know once I started in this role, it kind of opened up so many different departments that I just wasn't aware of before. And how like things affect different departments that you wouldn't really realize. So once I started digging into, let's say, optimizing ESP and Sage, I didn't know that I had to talk to PD and obviously marketing and our operations manager and just how many people touch everything that we do. It's really fascinating when you start trying to streamline things.
Nina says, love the AI usage for presentation of data. Didn't think to do that.
Yeah, I think the more we talk about how each of us is using ChatGPT, the more like the better we'll all get at using it. And it just improves how we do our job and hopefully makes things faster. And hopefully doesn't make us dumber because we're not like actually using our brains to think about things. But when we start thinking about the way to prompt it, it's very eye-opening.
And too, from personal experience of using these with actual clients, they have been beneficial, especially when you are trying to present things instantly and not necessarily because a lot of us here are instant gratification type people, and so are the people that we work with. So it's easier to just have something available to give right away, no delay, no wait.
For sure. And do I have anyone on this call that wants to try out the platform that we created, the reward platform? I don't know if you were able to click in on that QR code, but we'd love to get some early adopters to just try it out. I think it's going to be the platform itself is called Engage X, and I'm happy to share that with you guys. Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. I think it's going to be a huge deal for distributors more so than suppliers, but I happen to be good friends with the creators of it, which is, if you know Brenda Spears, she's a part of PromoKitchen and her husband created the software. So they let me play around in the sandbox, and I'm like, I could see how we could use this for the supplier side, but it was really more intended for the distributor side. Well, thank you so much. If there's no more questions, I'm always available. I'd love to chat with you if you have any questions about integrating or IT stuff.
Thanks so much, Ashley.
Thanks for having me.